Hello friends, welcome to web programming class. I hope you are all doing good. So stay safe, stay healthy, and let us start the today's class. In this class, let us discuss the again another different kinds of components and how to add those components to the frame or a panel. In the previous class, we discussed how to handle the events generated by the different types of components, and we also discussed how to add the components like a button, text field and text area or a scroll bar to the frame or a geo application. So in today's class, let us discuss the another components like a label. So let us see how to add this label to the frame. So as we know, label means what? So label means it is a text which is used to provide the description about the another components. So ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ we can use a component that is label. So in this, for example, if you are logging to your account like Facebook, in that case there is a one text which will be displayed like a username. Okay, so after that there will be a one text box. Okay, here you have to enter your username, and as another text is there like a password. Okay, so after that there is again a one text field. So in this text field, what it indicates that so you have to enter your text. In this text field you have to enter your password, and in this text field you have to enter your username or a email ID. So to create this type of a text, what we have to use? We have to use a label. Okay, so let us see how to add this label component to the window or a geo application. See, so as I told, this is it can be any user defined name which is used to identify input fields like text box and text area. So text box ಮತ್ತು text ಏರಿಯಾದೊಳಗೆ ನೀವು ಏನು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸನ್ನು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ label. And let us see the example for this. See here how to create the label. So to create a label component, how to use a class label. So here this is a class name. Okay, so for this class we have to create a one object in a create ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So here I am creating a object as a L1. Okay, so this is our label name, and this is a instantiation of the object, and here I am providing a label one name as a username. That means your name will be displayed before the text field. Okay, and next, see, again here I am creating another label that is L2 and providing name for this L2 as a password. So this will be the text displayed for a label 2, and this is the text which will be displayed for the label 1. Okay, so this is the way of creating labels. Okay, and see the next one. So first I will explain how to add the different types of components to the frame or a window. After that I will take all the methods and components with the example. Okay, so next one is a text field. So as I told you in the last class, if you want to add a text field to a geo application, you have to use a class text field. So for that class you have to create a one object, and in that case you can enter a text in the required position. Okay, see, so this class can be used to design a text box. So text box na create ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? You have to use this class. For example, this is a class name, and this is the object, and this is the instantiation of the object. So here this object will create a one text box. Okay, and see another example. So here in this case, here we are not specifying any size for this text box. Okay, so instead of this you can also specify the size. So that means you can enter 40 characters in this text box. So this is another example. So this can be used to create the text box. And see, push button na create ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ another, here we discussed, here in this example we added a one text box. Okay, in the next example we are creating a button, push button. That means when you can press that button. Okay, so for that example, how to create the button? So use a class button and create an object for that button class, and after that provide a name to that button. So it will create a one button. On that button there will be a text like submit. Okay, and you can also provide any other like names like OK, cancel, yes or no. So this type of name can be given as an argument to that button class constructor. Okay, this is the way of creating a button. And this is the another example to create the another button, that is cancel. So it will also create a one more another button, that is B1 of name cancel. So here this button name is cancel. Okay, got the point? And see next example. In the next slide here, in the next slide we are discussing how to add the text area. In the last slide we discussed how to create the text box. Okay, so in this case we are discussing about how to add the text area. It provides a more number of spaces to add the characters or to enter the characters than the text box. Okay, let us see about this. So this component can be used to design the text area which will accept the number of characters in rows. ಎಷ್ಟು rows ಬೇಕು. For example, I want to enter the address of our permanent address or a temporary address in specific forms. Okay, so in that case there is a lot of information which we need to enter, like our name, our street name, home address, area address. Okay, so in that case you have to enter a lot of text. So instead of using a text box, it's better to use a text area. So in the text area it will accept the information in the form of rows, okay, and columns. So rows and column format ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it will accept the values. And see how to create the text area. Again, to create the text area component we have to use a text area class and how to create the object. Okay, so here we are creating the object for the class, and for the constructor of the class we have to pass the number of rows and columns. So here 5 indicates this is the number of rows in a text area, and 10 indicates this is the number of columns in the text area. Okay, and see this is a 5 rows and 10 columns of a text area. So in this example you can enter the 5 rows text that can contains the number of rows, 5 rows and 9 columns, because columns always it includes n minus 1, 0 to 9. Okay, and next one is checkbox. So checkbox means what? So you may see the components like this in any forms or in any windows. These are checkbox. You are going to click on this. Okay, so for example, when you are filling your application form, you have to select the multiple choice, like if you are filling one bank application or account opening application. In that case, which type of account you want to open, like a saving account, current account. Okay, so in that case you have to enter or you have to check these boxes. So these boxes are called as what? These boxes are called as a checkbox. So then how to create these checkbox in the Geo application or in a web application? So to create these type of components we have to use a checkbox class. So for this checkbox class we have to create a object. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So then how to create that checkbox? Use the class checkbox class and create the object. Okay, so this is used to multiple selection of a checkbox. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ಅ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಬಟನ್ instead of checkbox, you can also use a radio button. In that radio button, so only you can choose only one option. For example, when you are attempting an online test, so when the question is displayed, in that case you have to choose only one answer or only one option in the given list. Okay, so for that purpose, which type of component we have to use? We have to use a radio button. That is not a checkbox. If you can select multiple options from the given list, that means that is a checkbox. In some cases, when there is only possible to select only one option from the given, so that means you have to use a radio button. So radio button will be like this. For example, when you select a sex, male or female, so that means you have to select only one option. Okay, so in that case you have to use a radio button. So let us see how to create this. See example, use a class name checkbox and create an object for the class checkbox, and here I am providing a different types of languages. For example, how many languages you know? The options will be programming languages, not regional languages. I am talking about only programming languages like .NET, Java, .NET, Java, C, C++. So options will be like this. So to create that application, so to provide that type of information, we have to use a checkbox. So for that checkbox, create a one object cb1, that is here, that is a object, and this is a checkbox, and the name provided to the name provided to that checkbox will be .NET, and another checkbox is there, that is Java, and that is another again I am creating one more checkbox with a different option, that is HTML, and again one more checkbox is there, that is PHP. So this is the way of creating the checkbox. Okay, and next one is a check group. So this can be used to design the radio button. So check group na use create ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಬಟನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಬಟನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ which class we have to use checkbox group, and which is used to select a single selection. Checkbox is used to select a multiple selections, whereas a radio button is used for single selection. Okay, and see the example. So this is the class which is used to create the button, that is checkbox group, and this is the object, and this is the way of creating the radio button or a checkbox group. So for example, a checkbox CB is a new object of the class checkbox, and new checkbox is equal to mail. So and this checkbox name will be, this checkbox will be like this, and after that it will be selected like this, created like this, and name of this checkbox will be mail, and always this will be selected. So to unselect this, you have to click on this component, then this will be become false. By default we are setting it as a true. If you uncheck this button or unselect this button, it will be unselected and the value of this component will become false. Okay, to create a female, that is female. Okay, so in that case this is unselected. Any one of these radio button must be true by default. Instead of selecting a male, you can select a female if you are filling any application or registering to some courses. In that case you have to select the gender. Okay, so you can create that application by using a checkbox. Okay, next one, choice. So this choice class can be used to design a drop down box with more option and supports a single selection. Drop box means what? So there will be a one component in an application like this. Okay, so when you click on the here or in arrow button, it will display several selections. For example, if you want to select a state, okay, so it will display all 28 states name. So to create this type of component in a Geo application, we have to use a choice. But one thing you have to remember here, when there are multiple, even though there are multiple options in a choice box or a choice component, but you can select only single option or a single choice. Okay, because you are belonging to only particular state. Okay, you are not belonging to so many states. Your permanent address is permanent, you are going to be a permanent resident of a particular state. Only that means you are belonging to a residence of a particularly one state, not more than one state. So that's why you have to select only one state here, not more than one state. So that's why in that case, to provide a multiple options or more options, you have to use a choice component. So to create this type of component, for which class we have to use? We have to use a choice class and create an object for that choice class. After that, you can add any values here, c dot add. So you have to provide the value for this object here. For example, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Goa, like this. Okay, so here I am adding some values, numbers like 20, 21, 22. For example, if you want to select the age, okay, 1 to 100, so I have to select the age from between around after 21, so 21 to 100, or 21, 20 to 68, or 22 minimum age is there to apply specific job. In that case, the minimum job like a minimum age will be like 21 and up to 35. So those numbers will be provided like this. Okay, and next one is a list. So this class can be used to design a list box with the multiple options, and it also supports a multiple selections. What happens in a choice? So in the choice, this class also, or this components also provides a multiple options, but provides a single selection. But in a list, it will also provide a multiple options, and you can also, so it can also supports a multiple selection, means more than one options can be selected. Okay, for example, qualification like MSc, B.Sc, MSc and PhD. I want to select all these qualifications from the given list. In that case, you can use this list component. And to create this list, you have to use a class list and create the object for that list and provide the value here. So here the value provided in the list is maximum number of options which that can be stored in the component list. Okay, my maximum 3 values can be stored here. So first I am storing like Goa, after that Delhi, and after that Pune. Okay, so these value will be present in the list, and you can select a multiple values from the list. For example, instead of a state name, here I can store like B.Sc, MSc and PhD. Okay, so you can select a more than one option. Multi selection option will be supported by the list component. And next one is scroll bar. So scroll bar means to move the window. So move a window na move ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ we have to use the scroll bar. So this class can be used to display a scroll bar on the window. So you can also create, there are two types of scroll bars are there. First one is a horizontal scroll bar and second one is a vertical scroll bar. So again, to create the scroll bar, which class we have to use? We have to use a scroll bar class. Here this is a scroll bar, and create the object for the scroll bar, and this is the syntax of creating the scroll bar. So you have to specify the type of the scroll bar, whether you want to create a horizontal scroll bar or a vertical scroll bar. After that, specify the initial position of the scroll bar, and after that thumb width. Okay, and next minimum value for the scroll bar and maximum value for the scroll bar. See, then what do you mean by this minimum or initial value? So here initial position, this initial position represents every starting or a position of a thumb. Means if this is a scroll bar, so there is a one more button is there where it has to be placed. So that has to be specified as the initial position. And after that, thumb width and minimum value and maximum. So thumb width means what? So this thumb width represents the size of the thumb which is scroll on the scroll bar. ಇದರದ್ದು size ಎಷ್ಟಿರಬೇಕು thumb width ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು specify ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. After that, minimum and maximum value represents the boundaries of the scroll bar. So if this is a window, so this minimum and maximum value of the, or maximum value that represents the boundaries, ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ scroll bar. So that will be represented by using this argument. And when you are creating or when you are adding a scroll bars to the frame, you have to specify all these values like type of the scroll bar, initial position, thumb width, minimum value and maximum value. Okay, and as I told, the types of scroll bars are, there are two types of scroll bars are there. Those are horizontal scroll bar and vertical scroll bar. So if you want to create a vertical scroll bar, you have to use scroll bar dot vertical, and if you want to create the horizontal, you have to use horizontal scroll bar dot horizontal. And let us see the example. So this is an example for creating a horizontal scroll bar, and these are the initial values provided to the arguments of the scroll bar. Okay, and next one is a AWT frame. So I already told you how to create the frame in the last classes, or in the third or fourth class. How to create the frame? You have to again create the object for the frame class, either by extending the class frame or by association. That means you can create the object for the frame class. Okay, there are two ways for creating the frames. So in the first case, see this example here, I am creating the frame by creating object for the frame class. Okay, that means that is creating a frame by association. Okay, and how to set the title to the frame. So how to set the title to the frame? That is by using a SetTitle. So SetTitle is a method which is used to set the title for the frame. That means title bar. If this is your window and you have to if you want to give a name to this window, in that case you have to use a SetTitle. Okay, and next one, see the example. Here I am creating a frame F, and after that I am setting the frame name as my frame. So now this frame name is my frame. Okay, so this like this the frame will be created. And set background. So if you want to change the color of the frame, background color of the frame, or if you want to set the image to the background for the frame, ಯಾವುದು ಕಲರ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಥವಾ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ we have to use a set background method. So in this case, see the example. Here I am creating a frame, and set background, you have to use the object of the frame class, and after that you have to invoke a method set background, and have to set the color dot. This is a class. Color is a class which is used to set the background color for the frame. Here I am setting the background color for the frame is red. Instead of red you can use any other color which you want to add the color to the background for the frame. Okay, if you want to set the image ಅನ್ನು ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ again set background, and within the double quotation you have to pass the path of the image as an argument. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಪಾತನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ have to pass as an argument. Okay, and next one, set the size. So again you can also set the size for the frame by using a SetSize method. So in this SetSize method it will set the width, height and width of the frame. See here, first create the object for the frame class, or after that using this object set the size, width and height of the frame. And SetVisible, to display the frame to the end user we have to set the visibility of the frame always true, because by default the set visibility or visibility of the frame is false. That's why we have to use this method. Again, how to use this? Create an object for the class and call the method by using that object SetVisible and make it a value as a true. Okay, so if you provided a false value, then it will not visible. Okay, and set layout. So we already know about this. So by default the layout of the applet is flow layout. If you want to change the layout of the panel or a frame, you can use a set layout method. So here I am creating a one frame, that is F, and changing the layout, that is flow layout. You can also, instead of flow layout, you can also change the layout like a border layout and grid layout. Okay, and add. So in the last slide or a previous slide we created a different types of components. Then now the case is then how to add those components into the frame. So for that purpose we have to use the add method to add the created components to the frame. Okay, see the example. This is here we created the frame and created a button. Then next case we have to add this button to the frame. So how to add this? How to use a frame object and add B. Now this button click will be added to frame F. Okay, see here I am displaying you one frame. So in that frame I want to create two buttons, submit and cancel, and I want to set the background color to a blue color. Okay, or sky blue color. So in this case then how to write the code? So title must be my frame, foreground color here, but here is red, but here displaying another color. Don't worry about this, you can make another color like blue. Okay, and foreground color, this is foreground color, and this is background color, that is cyan, and size is 300 and 500 and 300 width and height, and this is frame. Okay, so this is the frame. See here, so this is the frame. Okay, this is entire frame, and this is background color. I want a background color like sky blue, and after that I have to set the size and foreground color. So sorry, this is title for the frame, see here my frame, and I want to set the foreground color. Foreground color means the text to be displayed, the text which is to be displayed on the frame, that color. Okay, other color na change ಮಾಡೋದು. Here I am specifying it as a red. So then how to write? First what we have to do, we have to import the packages. See here, we have to import the package, that is java.awt. After that, here I am creating a one class frame demo. Here I am creating a frames by creating the object, not by extending the class. Okay, you can also create the frame by extending the frame class, or you can also create a frame by creating object for the frame class. You can use any one of the method. Here I am creating a frame by creating object for the frame class, but this is not a frame class, this is a user defined class, and this is a main method. Okay, and open the main method. In the next case, we have to create the object for the frame. Here I am creating object for the frame as a f. Okay, and in the next I am setting the title to the frame, that is by using a method SetTitle. Now the frame name is my frame. After that I am setting the background color for the frame, so you can also change it color like a yellow color or any other color you wish. So after that, set the foreground color, so it will change the color of the text which will be displayed on the frame. And after that, set the layout. Instead of flow layout, you can use any other layout like a grid layout or a border layout, but here I am using setting the layout of the frame will be flow layout. And after that I am adding a one component button. So and so that can be created by creating object for the class button, and add this and next I am changing the button name as a submit, and again creating one more button, that is B2, and naming it as a cancel. So cancel will be created. After that, add button. So in these two statements, the components will be just created. To add these components to the frame, we have to call a invoke a method add and pass this component object as argument to this methods. Okay, then this button will be added to frame, and after that f dot add b2. So again this will be created here, and next set the size. So it will set the size of the frame as a 500 and 300 width and height respectively, and set the visible. So when you set the visibility of the frame is true, then only it will display to the end user, otherwise it will not display. Just this will be executed but it will not displayed. Okay, and close the main method and close the class, and save this program by using frame demo.java and execute the program. Okay, so this is a process of creating a frame and adding the different kinds of components to the frame. Here again you cannot handle the events because there is no any event handling method is there. Just we are adding a components. These components are not active. So if you want to create active component, again you have to create its listener classes. So this is a way of creating a components. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, so try to write some more problems on this concept. Thank you. Stay safe and stay healthy.